Hi there, Randal Schwartz here, back again with another Dart or Flutter tip, trick, or technique. Many of you have migrated to Flutter 3.10 with Dart 3.0 or are planning on doing so soon. Some of you might be running into problems because your project wasn't fully migrated to null safety. Null safety is mandatory in Dart 3, and the legacy tools to help migration to null safety are now gone. So how do you deal with things that need to be migrated? Well, you could spend a lot of time typing Flutter upgrade and Flutter downgrade, but it's much simpler to have multiple versions of Flutter installed and selectable on a per-project basis. The leader for that for a couple of years has been FVM, the Flutter Version Manager. I used that frequently to ensure that the projects I was working on were locked into the proper Flutter version, as things have definitely changed over time. That way, I could have one project on an older Flutter release and another project on the latest stable, and maybe even experiment using a Flutter beta. However, I don't use FVM anymore now that I've discovered Puro. Puro completely replaced FVM for me, and I will suggest you take a strong look at it as well, even if you weren't an FVM user. Puro stores multiple releases of Flutter as overlapping Git trees, so that items common to releases can be shared, since most releases have a lot of common content that saves on both local disk space and in download times. Puro installation can be performed on most platforms even if you don't have an existing Dart or Flutter installation, because it comes with its own binaries and install scripts. If you have Flutter already installed, you can also install Puro from pub, but I don't recommend that. Just head over to puro.dev and follow the instructions for your platform. In many cases, Puro even handles updating your command line shell to include the necessary Puro folders. Once you have that installed, use Puro to check out the latest stable release of Flutter and make it the global selection. At this point, it's safe to remove any prior Dart and Flutter installation paths from your command line shell, because Puro provides the Dart and Flutter command for you in its path directory. After you have Puro installed and verified it is working properly, you can then install the final version of Flutter just before Flutter 3.10. At the moment, that's version 3.7.12, and I have that installed as the name Legacy. Finally, you can go into any Legacy Flutter or Dart project folder now and give the command Puro use legacy. For the most common IDEs, this will automatically configure the IDE to now treat the Dart and Flutter commands as being from that release. If possible, command paths will be altered and the analyzer automatically restarted. It's as if you stepped back in time. Once your legacy project has been fully migrated, it's simple enough to then issue Puro use stable, and you're back on the stable release. Puro can automatically track the primary Flutter release branches, including stable, beta, and master. When there's a change to a branch, a simple Puro upgrade and then the branch name performs all necessary downloads. The only other maintenance I do is the occasional Puro GC to clean up any unused Git objects. Simple enough. Puro also comes with a couple of useful Easter eggs that are still in development. Issuing Puro eval and a string of Dart code, Puro will compile and execute that code. Great for quick tests. Puro REPL shows a prompt. Yes, it's a Dart REPL. It's still in development, but many parts of it are already working great. I hope you find Puro as useful as I have, especially managing multiple projects or migrating legacy code. Please like and subscribe and tell all your friends. Thank you, and support me with my Patreon account if you find these videos useful. The link is in the show notes.